Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chris Johnson.
Episode 15 with Mike Scott, Justin Timberlake and the Tennessee Kids, and also Prince and the New Power Generation. Check out some of his music in the Players Pick Podcast playlist on Spotify.
Yeah. Man, been with JT a long time, man. We was just talking about the other day, 13, 14 years maybe.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was just like thinking about it too, because Stephanie and I was talking about when you was with New Power and Prince and all that, like, and that was a long run too.
Yeah, that was at least 15 years. I got with him in 96, and I think I bailed around 2012.
How'd that come about? How did you get introduced to Prince?
Well, that's a long and interesting story. Are you recording?
Yeah, we're recording. Yeah, we're good.
All right, you gonna edit it later?
Yeah. If it needs to be, I will.
Y'all still in the back?
Yeah, just the back.
Okay. How did I remember? Oh, interesting story. I was in D.C. around 92, and a band I was playing with was getting ready to do the Marriott circuit, and the first gig was in Minneapolis. So I went with them to Minneapolis. The drummer and the bass player and me piled into a Ford Escort with the Minneapolis. And the band worked out about 3 months at a Marriott, a very popular Marriott there. And the band, it didn't work out. The Marriott fired us. But everybody went back to D.C. But I realized, I said, man, Prince is here. Mint Condition is here. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis is here. Minneapolis was bustling at that time. Yeah. So I stayed and got a little hotel room, was burying my food in the snow, and then started going to. There was a lot of really popular bands in Minneapolis, including Prince's band, would play every Sunday and Monday at this club called Bunkers, Archie Bunkers. Okay. And his band, his whole rhythm section was in his band called Dr. Mambo's Combo. So the band I was with, two of the cats were from Minneapolis. They took me to go see them one night, and they were bad as hell. You know, it's Prince's goddamn band, without Prince. And they were bad as hell. And I was like, man, I want to jam with them. The guys that I was with, they were like, they don't let anybody on stage jam with them. And Michael Bland, who was Prince's drummer at the time, was sitting in the corner on a break. And I went over and said, hey, man, I'm Mike Scott. I'm in town. You know, and I said, I want to jam with y'all. And he said, all right, brother, if you feel that confident, come on up. And I got up and stayed up for about 4 songs. So that led to every band that's playing in Minneapolis that was doing anything. There was a reggae band called Ipso Facto. I would go sit in with them. There was this band called the Steels. Mick Sterling and the Stud Brothers just had a line around the block. All these were club bands. And I would just go up and say, hey, can I sit in? So I kept sitting in with people, and I started getting work. Finally, there came an opportunity to audition for Prince in 96. And I had a gig that night with another band, paying like $75 or something. And I told the drummer, I said, I can't come tonight. Maybe I can come tomorrow. He said, man, this is a one-time shot, dude. You know, you about to blow it. I said, man, I can't pull out of this gig, you know, because the gig was at 9. It was already 6. He wanted me there at 7. I knew the dude didn't have enough time to get anybody. So I'm packing my shit in the car. And I'm like, I'm about to go blow an audition with Prince to go do a $75 gig. So I called the guy. I said, hey, man, I can't make it. And I went and sat in with them. It was a Wednesday. We rehearsed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And, you know, we started jamming. And, you know, Prince was grooving. And by Saturday, I was on a tour bus with the band going to the first gig. Whoa. And he never told me I was in the band. He never said, welcome to the band. He just said, come back tomorrow. You know, come back tomorrow. We're rehearsing. And I came back the next day, and I came back the next day. And next day I knew I was in the band. So that was 96. Wow. And the first gig we had was one of those talk shows. It was Good Morning America or something. Uh-huh. And I didn't have the NPG custom-made clothing and all that. I just had on a shirt and some pants. And we were standing there getting ready to go on stage. And we were standing in the hallway, and it was a coat hanging there. And he told the wardrobe lady, he said, go get one of my hats. And she came back with his Godfather hat, and he just took some coat off the rack and put it on me. He said, "You look like a Baptist church reverend." And that's how Reverend Scott was born that day.
Reverend Scott that day.
Yeah.
Damn.
So then I started having clothes. He started having me clothes made that looked like I was a reverend, you know.
That's awesome.
But he never told me I was in the band. Never once said, "Welcome to the band." So third gig or so, I was telling these guys, third gig, you know, I'm sitting on this tour bus, and I said, "Sir, we haven't discussed salary or anything." He told his bodyguard, "Cut Mike a check." And he gave me the check. He gave me the check, and I looked at it and I said, "Am I supposed to pay the whole band out of this?" And he laughed because it was. I had never seen that much money in one gig
for you.
Yeah,
yeah.
I said, I really thought I was supposed to give. I thought I was supposed to split it with the band.
Oh
and
man,
he laughed. I was like, "Damn." Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a good story. Oh, on your way. Sorry.
Justin, Chris.
Hey,
Chris with Dunlop. Oh, and that's Elliot.
Yeah.
You know Chris with Dunlop.
You
Yeah,
know
him.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
All right, how are you?
Good. Good. Just chilling, talking about history.
I'm like eavesdropping.
Yeah, we're making.
I just need the dollars.
We're talking about history, making history while we're talking about history.
Yeah, and he's doing a podcast.
Yeah, this is check it out. This is a Players Pick podcast, right?
Nice.
So we're talking about about to talk about guitar picks right now. So that's actually my question.
Oh.
One of my we went back to Prince, but let's go back even further. Like, what was your first memory of a guitar pick? Like, who gave it to you, and like, what were your first picks that you probably used?
I started using those Dunlop 2.0s even before I started getting the ones from Dunlop with my name on them.
Yeah.
I had always used that pick because when I'm doing the fast stuff, the thinner picks, as soon as they bend a little bit, I wasn't getting the response that I needed. So I went to
you're the Delrin 2.0, yeah?
Yeah, I was at Guitar Center one day, and the guy, I said, "What's the thickest pick you got?" And he pulled off that 2.0. He said, "This is a bass pick." And I was like, "Oh man, this is it." And that's the pick I've been using for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So when Dunlop started making them for me, this is it. That's the pick.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing that fast stuff, it's right there. It don't bend.
It's stiff.
You know.
Now, you didn't start off with a thick pick when you very first started playing guitar, though, right?
No, I was just playing, you know, I was 12 when I started playing, 11, 12. Pick choice wasn't, just like string. You hadn't figured out what strings you liked.
Right.
You were just trying, experimenting. Any pick that was laying around would work then. Everybody had those tortoise shell, little thin
like
picks.
a Fender celluloid or something.
Yeah. All those.
Good to see you, brother.
All those were working at the time. So when I fell on these, man, and the thing I really used to love to do was pluck that motherfucker. People in the audience, I would try to hit people in the forehead with the picks.
Man, well, this is why you were out on the road with Prince?
Just in general.
Or just in general?
Yeah. But it's the pick of choice for me because when you're doing that fast stuff, it's right there. I don't like bendy picks except when I'm playing acoustic. I like a floppy pick then.
Right.
But
like these we made for Justin. Like these, this is like super floppy.
Yeah, that's super floppy. Yeah. I can use that on acoustic, but on electric, I can do that fast stuff because it's just that little bit of bend. It's too much bend for me for the faster stuff.
Do you remember when you had that realization?
Well, it had to be high school. It had to be like around 79, 80 because I've been playing these picks forever.
Yeah.
Because when I discovered the thicker pick, that 2.0. Because there's another one that looks like the 2.0, the purple 2.0, but it's a little thinner. And then there's another that's thicker.
Yeah.
And I found when I played either one of those, and when I'm holding this 2.0, anything else is a distraction to me. I've been playing this pick for so many years that at the thickness of it, I can just tell when it's not right. Because sometimes Dunlop had made a mistake and sent us a bag full, and they were just a little bit thicker.
A little bit thinner.
They were thicker.
Oh, thicker.
And they sent a bag that was a little thinner. And I could, my tech would give it to me, and I'd be like, "Nah, this ain't the right one. I can feel it. It's not right."
Whoa.
It's just it ain't feeling right in between my fingers. So I've been using that pick for most of my career, I have to say.
That's really cool. And so, do you remember what you were learning or what you were working on when you was like, I get a thicker pick?
Well, back when I was in high school, we were listening to a lot of fusion stuff. We were listening to Electric Band, Chick Corea, Al Di Meola, and
Mahavishnu or what?
Mahavishnu, and what's that one? Alex. Damn, my brain ain't working right now. That one dude. he's just fusion jazz. I was listening to a lot of that. Scott Henderson. Man, I can't believe I can't remember that guy's name. Alan Holdsworth.
Oh, Holdsworth.
Alan Holdsworth was a big influence, and Demiola just used to do that.
Totally.
And this is the only pick I could reproduce that with.
Ah.
I couldn't do it with a thin pick. You know,
he is an extra heavy guy too. He plays extra heavy celluloid,
and he picks every note.
Yeah.
So it wasn't working for me with the thinner picks. That pick has been my pick of choice for that reason only, because of the action. And being able to play the really fast stuff, because I went to Duke Ellington School of Arts, and I graduated from there in '79, and
that's so cool.
We were really listening to Al Di Meola, Electric Band, Chick Corea Electric Band, not Electric Band. Return to Forever was very popular.
Right.
Holdsworth was very popular. George Benson was very popular. And I just found that the floppier picks, you could not do the fast stuff with the floppier picks. And I told you it was a little bit of experimentation before I discovered this pick. But some guy at Guitar Center in Minneapolis gave me this pick, and that was the pick. That's the pick I'm going to use to death.
That's been it.
Yeah, because it doesn't, some picks wear on the end. These don't wear so quickly because they're so thick. Longer. Yeah, you know how they get sharp on the end?
Yep.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer with these. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you sharing that. That's cool. I wonder about, since you've been a road dog for a long time and a studio guy, and what's your career now, like 30 years, like?
Yeah, at least
something like that.
At least 30.
For all this, you've been around the world.
I started. I was playing with Peaches and Herb in Vegas when I was had to be 19, 20. I just got out of high school. I was working at a bank, so I had to be 18, 19, maybe 19, 20. Yeah. I was playing with Peaches and Herb in Vegas, reunited.
Yeah.
I was touring with them. Man, funny story. I was so young and green back then. I was in Vegas and I went to a bar one night, and I'm sitting next to this girl at the bar, and we started talking. And I said, "So what do you do?" She said, "I'm working." I said, "Where do you work?" And she said, she ignored me, and we kept talking. I said, "So what do you do?" She said, "I'm working." I'm like, what, you work at McDonald's? Where you work? And we kept talking. And then she finally said, "Look, are you going to do something or not?" And then she got up and went to this other guy. And then they left. And I said, oh, she's working. That's how green I was.
Oh, man.
That's how green I was. But I've been touring for a long time. I was playing with a band when I was 13. I remember that. And we used to play in bars. We couldn't we couldn't go to the bar.
Sure.
But we could play in the bar. So my earliest, and I started touring with this group called Juicy back in mid-80s. And they were touring the country. They had the number one hit out on the charts. We did Soul Train and all that stuff when it was popular, and
that's cool.
I was really surprised to get Soul Train to find out they don't really play. You saw Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
You remember when they were on Top of the Pops and they were pissed because the drums were fake and they were playing the track. And I always thought people played on Soul Train live, just like everybody thinks they play on Top of the Pops live.
Right. But no.
So that was interesting.
You found out that hard way, yeah.
Yeah, we toured in a little van. Went all over the country, man, in a little van with a trailer behind the back. So I've been touring for a long time.
With all that behind you, like what? I'm curious. You got any life lessons or any wisdom you can pass along to musicians that are out and about doing their thing these days?
Well, the most important thing I have learned, because you could be an amazing player, you could be Steve Vai times 10, sitting in your basement playing for your four walls. You need to get out and you got to get out and just you got to go out and meet people. And like I did when I got to Minneapolis, they were telling me that band never lets anybody sit in. I was like, are you kidding? And I was, they playing funk. Why won't they let somebody sit in? And then when I got with the Stud Brothers in Minneapolis, Stud Brothers was this all-white band, and they were huge in Minneapolis. And they had an audition. Dave Berry was the top of the food chain in guitar world in Minneapolis. And he was playing with Janet Jackson and Cher. So when he rolled out, the Stud Brothers had no guitar player. And they had auditions. And there's a million bad guitar players in Minneapolis. But I got the gig. And that really escalated my career some more. Because Prince actually came. I would see Prince in the back of the room. a couple of nights. Stud Brothers were huge, and they used to introduce me as the integrator on guitar because they were all white band.
Right.
But they were huge, and then it was this band called Ipso Facto, a reggae band, man. And when I got with them, and then there was the Steels, and then I got with the Sounds of Blackness, who was a label artist for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So once I got with Sounds of Blackness, they brought me in to be session man for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And I would go from room to room to room. Beyonce would be there, Destiny's Child, you know, Lionel Richie, freaking you name it. Whoever was popular during the mid 90s. I was recording with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I played on everybody's record, Janet Jackson, all kind of stuff.
That's what I saw.
So it was a matter of the point I'm trying to get to. Timing and networking is most important. Networking is more important than your playing. It's who you know rather than what you know.
Right.
Now here's another story. Rihanna had, I used to play with Rihanna for a minute. She had auditions. A guy called me and said, man, Rihanna's, the keyboard player that was with Justin, who was my boy, he said Rihanna's having auditions on Saturday.
Wow.
So he had already put their word, hey, my boy Mike Scott's going to audition. That's who you want. So all these cats, when I got there, was a long line of people. And even this one guy, he walked in and said, oh, man, damn, Mike Scott in there, man. Don't even waste your time. I thought that was huge accolades. I was like, okay.
Hell yeah, it is.
So finally got to meet the audition, and they had 3 songs that everybody else had known. I told the guy, I said, hey, man, I don't know any material. I'm just going to play. And he said, cool. They put the 3 songs on, and I just played. I just played whatever I felt. And the dude was losing his mind. They took video of it and sent it to Rihanna, and they called me that evening and said I got the gig. But it was just, like I said, it was who I knew rather than, it was also what I knew. But it was, had I not known the people, I would have not have known that there was an audition for Rihanna that day. So networking is very important.
So develop your people skills is what I'm hearing.
Develop your people skills. Go out and jam with people. Go out and sit in with people. Be seen, be heard, be known. Pass out cards so people say, oh, there's that one dude, man. What's that dude's name? Met that dude at the club tonight. And he sat in with us. Mike Scott, yeah. Let's call him. So even the bands I would sit in with, if their guitar player couldn't make it, they would call me and say, hey, man, you sat in with us the other night. Can you come jam? You know, because our guitar player can't make it. So networking is very important. I think that's more important than what you know. Because you got amazing chops and you sit in your basement playing for your 4 walls. Who's going to know?
Right. You got to be good, right? Obviously, you did your homework.
Yeah.
You came with the fire, but as soon as you saw the opportunity, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And didn't like stop and just kind of wait for it to come to you.
And I came to Minneapolis. It's very strange. It must have been, I have to say it was destiny, because Minneapolis didn't have any, they just didn't have a niche. There was a niche for me there, because I grew up in Washington, D.C. with a completely different style. So when I got to Minneapolis, I had to learn another style. Prince taught me another way of playing guitar, and when I combined the two, I had something really unique. It did, thanks to, because when I was sitting in with bands in Minneapolis, they used to always say, man, when I was with the Stud Brothers, the all-white band, they were like, dude, can you, when the one guy was trying to play, and the keyboard player said, man, just play on the beat, man. You're playing behind the beat like a black guy. He said, can you just play on top of the beat? And, I had to learn to stop, because in D.C. we play everything laid back. Just laid back. And they were really on top of it, and that was a whole nother style. Even when I got with Prince, he would say, you're laying back a little too much. Can you just stay right on top of it, right? So I learned a lot about in Minneapolis, and combining the things Prince taught me, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and playing with the Stud Brothers and Michael Bland and Prince's rhythm section, and this reggae band. I had it, just the timing of it, the 90s, man. I swear, it couldn't have happened at a better time. It was just a great time. And I hate to toot my own horn, but it was just a great time for me in my career. Yeah. It was it was like it was destined. Right. Because if it had happened at any other time, it probably wouldn't have happened the way it did. But I went up the food chain in Minneapolis till I got to the top, and that was Prince. And after Prince, there's nothing else. So I left. And I was with Prince until 2012, and we were rehearsing. And it was Christmas. We took a break, had a party. And I had gotten an email that Justin was going to start on January 1st. And this was the 24th of December. Prince walked down the hall and I said, Prince, what you got planned for next year, He said, you're asking me about next year. I'm still trying to figure out today. And I said, and he kept walking. And I said, well, I got stuff to do. He said, go do what you got to do. And then I started with Justin on January 1st for Future Sex tour. I think it was this Future Sex. And then Prince called me 2 days after we started. Yeah, I need you. Come back. We're gonna start rehearsing again. I was already on another gig.
Oh man.
And that's when our relationship ended. 2012.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you see him? You see him again before he passed?
No. But I did go do the tribute. They did a tribute the year he died.
Yeah.
And I played. I got to do Purple Rain and all that. I got to do all the leads for all of that stuff. And it was an emotional thing, you know.
I can only imagine.
They're doing something now. They're doing something in April that I could not do due to this gig.
Because NPG's still running around.
NPG's still around. I went on tour with them last year, doing all the Prince stuff with the original NPG band. And
I think Takumi hit us up for picks for you. For that.
Yeah. Because Takumi was doing he's doing a Revolution version.
Oh.
I was with NPG.
Got it.
It was the big guy on drums, Michael Bland, Sonny, Tommy.
My bad.
The Hornheads. It was the real. That's what we call NPG. But the Revolution, who was the people that got with him during Purple Rain, they were there, had that success.
Right.
They think they're the real band that put Prince on the map, which they are. And they say, man, NPG like cockroaches. You kill one, two more show up.
Well, it's like different times, different situations.
Yeah, they were the band that was there in his heyday when he got Purple Rain success.
At the big rise.
They were the band. But an NPG, the real NPG was the Hornheads, Michael, Sonny, Tommy, Morris Hayes, Kirk Johnson. That was NPG. They did the gold record and all that. So I've been playing with those cats. Since Prince is gone, I've been playing with them. Levi Caesar is the original guitar player, though. And Levi's a bad dude, man. That dude taught me so much funk stuff, man.
Really?
That guy's a bad dude. But
all these names you're dropping, I wonder what are you listening to these days that's got you like stoked? Is there any new players or any players that you've been listening to?
Yeah, there's so many new guitar players. Like I got a friend in DC, Gerald Thompson. He keeps me on top of the new guitar players, and he sends me all these new. Man, there's so many Guthrie Govins, man.
Oh, Guthrie is fire.
A beast.
Yeah.
And there's so many. Neely Broche.
You like Neely Broche?
Yeah. Neely's a beast, man. There's
I love Neely. She was on this podcast a couple episodes ago.
Oh, she was? Yeah. Neely's a beast. Steve me and Steve talk on a regular, man. I just sent Steve some of my material.
What a sweet guy.
He was floored. He's like, holy shit, I didn't know you could play like that. Because he just knows me as a funk guy. He never know I could play that guitar god stuff that he does. So I sent him some stuff for me shredding out on some rock shit. Cool. He was pretty impressed. But I don't really listen to. I still like Scott. I love Scott Henderson. I love Pat Martino. Mm-hmm. I listen to a lot of stuff. I still listen to Vi. Like I said, and there's so many new guitar players. Mm-hmm. It's just hard to keep up. And I'm not one of them cats that listen to people to try to. There's some dudes that listen and try to recreate what a dude's doing.
Sure.
I'll listen to you play, and I'll take something from what you did,
like the vibe,
and try to innovate something.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna sit and study you.
Yeah.
I'll just listen and say, oh man, Chris is a beast, and wow, I like the way he did that, and I'll try to incorporate that into my playing. But I'm not gonna try to imitate you, because imitators, I think people should be innovators.
Same.
Be innovators. You can learn something from Steve Vai, but don't try to play his licks. Try to incorporate and create something of your own based on something he influenced you by.
I love that. I feel similar. Like I've never been one to try to learn somebody else's solos note for note and all that, because even though I know there's advantage to that.
Yeah, there's advantage to that.
But I've always felt like some of my favorite players are usually the ones that I don't even really know I studied a little bit, but I didn't study too much. I don't want to know too much.
Yeah, you don't want to know too much. You don't want to.
I don't want too much heady stuff in my head. I want to feel it.
You want to play. You just want to play from your heart, rather than sitting here saying, what's that lick that guy did? Let me do that. And somebody will come up and say, I heard a little Scott Henderson in your playing. Yeah, you heard a little, but not. That's not.
It's the essence of. It's not like verbatim.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I get that. You probably we have to roll.
Yeah, we got to run it.
All right. Well, thanks.
You got to roll, though, right?
I'll come with you for a little bit.
All right.
But this has been Players Pick Podcast, episode number 15 with Mike Scott, Justin Timberlake, New Power Generation.
Tennessee Kids.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I hope I had something the listeners can use.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Always.
Yeah, man. I've been doing these Dunlop picks for 1,000 years.
Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chris Johnson.